Yo, what's shaking AC?
Oh man, you just have so much energy. It's inspiring.
Infectious.
Infectious, that's the word. I knew it
There
was
we go.
something. Yeah.
Listen, I got to talk to you, okay? Because I was driving a couple days ago and I drove past this store called The Brick, which is a big furniture store. And I remembered when I was a little kid, they were having this grand opening, and my parents took me there. And I had the time of my life because there was balloons, there was free cake. It was like chocolate cake with white icing and like maraschino cherries on top. That cake has a name, but I forget what it is. And
Yeah, of
Dr.
course.
Pepper. And I drank Dr. Pepper, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing." I don't even care about the furniture, right? And so as I was driving, I was kind of recalling this, and I thought to myself, I think that was their grand opening. Maybe it was some sort of anniversary sale or whatever, but it made me remember that, Now every time I eat that cake, I think of The Brick. So I wanted to jump on here and talk to you about grand openings, because to me, at least being able to remember that really sort of hammers home how critical a grand opening is for a business, for its initial sort of like boost of growth, getting out the gate with your feet running, champing at the bit, or whatever the phrase is, you know what I mean? So I wanted to get your input on what your thoughts are about grand openings, how critical they are, different facets that might be going through your head, because I'm just craving Dr. Pepper right now.
Well, I don't know if I can help you with that, but
Okay.
the Dr. Pepper thing. But I love this topic because I grew up at grand openings. That's how I learned a lot of what I learned in life about business. Because you've heard me say this many times. I had to dress up as Kelly Kebab at grand openings, and so even back in the day when M&M Meat Shop's family business was just getting started, I mean, that grand openings were the way to get, to make a splash in the community. So we had a pretty systemized approach where a number of people from our head office would show up, including us kids, and big hoopla, like you said, things like helium balloons, and being a food store, it made it easy. We could do a charity barbecue. And again, these like kids with costumes and all, whatever we could do to create attention. And over the years, it got more refined. And when I was in the field myself, opening stores as a field trainer and working in the field consulting role, grand openings were a huge part of the franchisee success. And so the way we did it then, I don't know, I'll just jump into this for a quick sec here. But the way we did it was we would show up, the field trainers would show up and get the store all set up. We'd take a week to get everything ready, or just under a week. And then we would have a soft opening where we would just unlock the door, turn on the open sign, and people would come in, and it just gave us a chance to kind of iron out the bumps for about a week. And then the following Saturday would be this big grand opening. So we'd do a bunch of marketing, and I can tell you more about it, but I'll pause there. But that's my experience with grand openings. And I'm not sure if we have enough time to talk about this today, but I think if you're a mobile service business, there's ways that you can do it as well. So I'll just pause there, see what you're thinking.
Well, actually, when you mentioned mobile service business, it got me thinking about what you had said a little earlier about garnering attention. From my experience, my limited experience, a grand opening really shouldn't be about making sales. Right? You're trying to get attention. If you're having a grand opening and you're just trying to get people to come in and book or register or sign up for your product or service or whatever it is, I mean, that's nice, right? That means revenue. But that's what you do in most of your normal marketing. So a grand opening is something much more elaborate or embellished or whatever it is to garner attention. So for all those people who aren't ready to make the purchase yet, they're aware of it. Like, would you agree? Is that what your experience was during these grand openings?
Actually, I probably disagree a little bit. So
Oh.
maybe this is, yeah. Are you sad?
Yeah.
You don't like that. Well, just a thought is that franchisees, or just humans in general, I think, to have a grand opening do really well, it really sets the stage for what's coming. And I'm just thinking back to, I was at the grand opening for the Happy Cat Hotel in Virginia back in the fall. And they did really well with the turnout of people coming through, but people were booking and I think they were like by the end of the day or maybe the weekend, I think they were booked fully till Christmas. So like 6 weeks ahead or whatever. And I think just the franchisees feeling that confidence and being off to a good start is definitely helpful. So I think I do agree with the fact that it is really about garnering attention, but the revenue and the sales of that day can't hurt. I remember that was always one of the fun things at the end of the day at the grand opening, when we would like when we finally end up closing and turn off the open sign and announce. We always had a big announcement for how much we did, and it was always a lot of fun. But yeah, and one thing I would also just add to this conversation is, it is such a great way to start to make those connections in the community, to go out and I know I'm sure you maybe could speak a little bit about what Control V does. We used to always go and try to get the mayor to come down and cut the ribbon or flip burgers or whatever, we like a little bit of both. Any local celebrities. So if there's any sports celebrities in town or community leaders of any sort that are, well, like higher profile, you can get a bouncy castle, hire a bouncy castle. Sometimes they'll donate it because it's for charity, sometimes not. We sometimes franchisees would get a fire truck, like get the local firefighters to come down with a fire truck, and that might be the charity that is for, is like, what are the burn fund or something. But it was such a great way to kick off this community engagement of what we can do. And the other thing, we would have volunteers come and help us at the barbecue, friends and family, but everybody would be wearing the orange shirt that we had at M&M back in the day. So you'd drive by and you'd see this tent and you'd see this bouncy castle and you'd see all this orange, and you might hear loud music and you're like, I gotta go check that out. So it's a huge marketing opportunity for sure. And then if you do get, the mayor and everyone, now they're talking about it, and you're giving out, in our case, it was food, so we can give out samples, or like for you can give out VR and they'll be talking about it. And, you got lifelong customers right there. So
it's not just about the preemptive work about marketing the fact that you're having an opening and trying to get people out, but it's also the wow factor or the shock value of people driving by and seeing some sort of commotion happening. If you can, right? I guess it depends on the business, but I mean, I could imagine at Control V, you could even, if the weather's okay, maybe you have a tent outside and you're doing some of the VR demonstration outside, and then you get people to go inside, and again, balloons, and you could get one of those wavy things, I dress up in red spandex and I stand on the street corner waving my arm. Oh, well, I'm the wacky wavy inflatable arm dude. There you go. I'm sure that would work. So anything you can do to get attention. And I just think there's so much opportunity. Go around if you're in a plaza, or a mall, go around with flyers, of course, like, in advance, and invite people and give them something free. And in my background, it was a huge opportunity and a lot of fun and a good celebration. There's so much, because now I want to ask you about VIP events, pre grand opening for the press and the media. I want to ask you about where you filter in celebrities and city councilors and mayors and soft launches before the grand opening. Why don't we do a part 2? It's our show. We could just pause it right here, wrap it up. Okay, well, before we do that, you also wanted to mention something about territory launches. Well, that can be in part 2. That can be in part 2. Okay. What do you think? Yeah, we could have a big grand opening celebration for this multi-part grand opening celebration. Anyways, whatever. I'm rambling now. Let's wrap it up. Okay, let's wrap this up and we'll come back for part 2. Sounds good. Okay, you ready? Yep. 3, 2, 1. Go be awesome.